All right, hello everyone. So I wanted to take a few minutes to go through our syllabus and point out some important factors about our course policy. This isn't meant to be like a super exhaustive video of what is in the syllabus. It's still definitely something that you guys want to read through yourselves, but I'm going to skip through and sort of highlight the important parts, okay? You'll notice on Canvas that there are two syllabuses posted based on what your section is, and really the only difference between the two is the header part up here, which explains when your particular course meets. You can read our introduction or our welcome message on its own, but here's me. I am your instructor, Nicholas Corsepius. You can just call me Corsepius, my last name. If you need to get in contact with me, the best way to do so is via email. Here's my email address right here. Just firstname.lastname@fresnocitycollege.edu. You can also message me through Canvas and it will go to that same email address. So email is my preferred method of contact. This is my office phone number here. I don't think it's ever rang and I don't know that I would know how to answer it if it did. So if you have any questions, just send me an email. My office hours for this semester. So I will be in my office, which is in T110B. If you go to Canvas, there is an office hours page and there's a map which shows you where my office location is. It's kind of in a very weird place. It's located within the automotive program. So you're going to be in the middle of trucks and like tractor trailers that are getting serviced. It's going to look like you're in the wrong place, but that is where my office is. So if you do need to reach me at my office in T110B, just follow that map on Canvas. So on Tuesdays, as well as Thursdays, I will be in my office from 1 to 2 p.m. And then on Fridays, I will also be holding office hours from 12 to 2 p.m., but this will be in a different room in the science building, S220, which is actually our lab classroom, our lecture and lab classroom, so y'all should know it well. And this is going to take place during what's called GRASP on Fridays. So every Friday from 8 a.m., we can just write that down, from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Fridays is what we call GRASP. Well, not an R, with a P. And during this time, you can go to this particular room to S220, and there's always a chemistry instructor there that can help you. Our faculty staffs it from this particular, from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And so any point within there, if you show up, you can talk to a staff member. I myself will be there starting at noon, starting at 12, and going to closing. But GRASP is something that we have done to set aside time for students to kind of like put into their schedule, you know, show up at GRASP, do your homework, and be able to ask questions for those around. Because again, there's always going to be a chemistry faculty member in there that can help. I myself will be in there from noon to 2, but if you get there even as early as 8, somebody will be in there to help you. I'm going to leave these particular sections for you to read through on your own. I will just say that this is you know, a description of what we're going to be covering in the course. And this is actually something that's set by the state of California and Fresno City College. I don't have any sort of leeway in terms of what I can teach in chemistry. I have a set amount of topics that we have to cover. How I cover that topic is up to me. It's what's called academic freedom. But importantly, this is all this stuff that we got to get to. We got to get through all of this information. That's what a Chem 28A course is. By doing this, by meeting these requirements, then our course can transfer to the CSUs and the UC system and work all as beautifully as the California Community College system does, where everything that you do here will eventually transfer for credit elsewhere. So what we cover is going to be a good bit. We got a good bit to cover in this course. It's not, by no means is it an easy course, but we got to do it. That's what the state of California says, and so that's what we're going to be going through. Prereqs, if you guys are here, you've met the prereqs, so I wouldn't really worry about this. Textbook. So this is sort of an exciting semester here because we're going to be adopting a new textbook for this semester. and that is Organic Chemistry by McMurray, which is an OpenStax textbook, which means that it is completely free for you guys. So if you go to Canvas under our course introduction module, you can download our PDF of our textbook, and that's it. That's what we're going to be using. So we don't have any cost associated with our textbook this semester. There are some optional things here. I'll point out, so this is a great book, Organic Chemistry as a Second Language. I don't know that I would get it unless I was super interested in organic chemistry. I don't know that it will sort of help you on certain course assignments and stuff like that if you're struggling, but it is just a great book. The ACS Chemistry Guide is something that is very useful. I'll talk here in a second about our final exam, but our final exam will be an ACS chemistry exam. And so this is just a study booklet that's put out by the ACS. And I will say that students who have used this in the past have been more successful on the final exam than students who haven't. So it is a good idea to get through, or to get and start looking through. There is a copy in the library though, so you can always go there to check it out. This is that book that I was saying I would hold off on unless you just love organic chemistry. The other thing that is super helpful in organic chemistry is a model kit. Okay, I loved my model kit when I was a student. I highly recommend. We do also have them available to rent during GRASP. So if you don't want to actually go out and purchase a model kit, but it's still something that you would find helpful studying, that is something that we can rent out to you during GRASP, not to take home, but just to use while you are in GRASP. We've been dealing with COVID way long enough. I think you guys are cool on that. You can read through there. Importantly, attendance policies. So what constitutes an excused absence is something that's clearly defined within the syllabus, okay? First of all, attendance is extremely important in these higher level science classes because they are just fast-paced and chock full of information. As it says here, the number one sort of pitfall that I see amongst students is they're doing fine, and then they kind of check out for a week or two, and then they try to catch back up, and it just never works. It's almost impossible to catch up on 2 weeks worth of work after you've completely checked out. It's just too much information, okay? The way to be successful in this course is to keep that steady pace. It's like a marathon, not a sprint, right? So you got to pace yourself, chipping away at that work and that content little by little every week. If something does happen, that's an emergency type of situation that would constitute an excused absence, it's important that you follow these steps in order to get your absence excused. You have to let me know within a reasonable amount of time, 24 hours. Your absence has to be short term. We cannot accommodate people who are not going to be able to be there for a few weeks at a time. It's just impossible. You have to have a serious and compelling reason for missing the class. You can't just be like, oh, I'm not going to make it because of a family emergency. No, you have to have an actual reason for missing, and there has to be some sort of documentation that is backing up that reason, okay? As long as you meet these 4 criteria, that would constitute an excused absence. There are important dates to keep in mind here. The ones that I would point, there's actually a website here that goes through it even more exhaustively. The one thing that I would want to point out explicitly is this idea of dropping without or with a W. So if you drop by the end of August, by August 27th, you can avoid having a W on your transcript. If you pass that date, but then up until the 6th of October, you can still drop the class, but you would get a W on your transcript. What that means, a W, they say, is, the sort of classic refrain is that it's better than an F, but it doesn't look great. It's something that counts towards your attempts in a course. It will permanently be on your transcript. However, it doesn't factor into your GPA. Okay, so kind of the calculation that you would make there is, am I going to pass the class? If not, I might as well get the W as opposed to an F on my transcript. Some important holidays that we're going to be missing. Everybody can keep those in mind. Here's our class calendar here. There's actually a page on Canvas that has this all detailed as well. It has our exam dates, importantly. I would ask you to refer to the schedule that's actually on Canvas as opposed to in the syllabus here, because if anything changes, I'll change it on our Canvas page. I'm not going to update this document. Okay, so don't just print this out and keep it to heart, although these are, at least as of now, and what I think they will be, are exam dates. Okay? All right, so you will see this broken down a little bit more clearly in our course introduction video, but let me just sort of point it out. We have a few different assignments that are going to make up this course. The lowest stakes assignments are going to be what are called lecture assignments. So every chapter that we cover in this course will be broken down into a few lecture topics, and each one of those topics will have an accompanying assignment. Bottom line is, like, during lecture, we're going to learn how to do problems, and then you're going to have homework where you're going to have to practice those problems, where you're going to demonstrate to me that you know how to do that sort of stuff. These lecture assignments, which total of 10 points per chapter, are kind of the lowest stakes assignments insofar as you have an infinite number of attempts to earn full credit on these assignments. So as long as you don't give up on a particular question, you can try over and over and over again until you get full credit. So everybody should get all of these 10 points per chapter because, again, you just have plenty time. As long as you don't wait until the last minute, you can go to tutoring or to office hours or something like that and get help on these problems so that you always get full credit on these assignments. This is there for practice, for you to, again, low stakes sort of practice to make sure that you understand the material. At the end of each chapter, there's going to be an end of chapter assignment. It's going to have the exact same questions as what are in our lecture assignment, but now they're going to be a little bit higher stakes. You're going to have a limited number of attempts, and every sort of wrong answer that you get will count against you a little bit. You'll get a little bit of a strike against you, 1/4 of a point off for every attempt that you make, or something like that, depending on the assignment, okay? But nonetheless, they're just the same sort of questions reframed, and the whole point is to make sure that you guys actually understand how to do these problems. Again, we're going to go through them in lecture. You're going to have this one assignment where you got an infinite number of attempts. Now you're going to have to do it again, and now it's going to be worth, or rather a little bit more high stakes in the sense that if you get it wrong, it's going to count against you. All this is, of course, building to an exam, which is the high stakes sort of place where you're going to demonstrate to me that you actually understand that content, right? So it might be worth 1 point on a lecture assignment or something like that, but then 4 points on an exam, right? So that's where you're going to demonstrate to me that you actually learn that information. Those will each be worth 100 points. As you can see, we have 4 of them throughout the semester. Our final exam is what's called an ACS final exam. ACS stands for the American Chemical Society. This is something that's used throughout all of our chemistry courses here at Fresno City College. We always give these ACS finals at every level. And we like them because the American Chemical Society is the largest society of chemists here in America. They write these exams every year, and they give them throughout the country. So why we like them so much is because we can have our students take them and we can compare the results to the rest of the country to make sure that we're not under-teaching our organic chemistry, that you guys aren't worse at organic chemistry than the rest of the country who's learning, but also that we're not overshooting, that we're not like putting way too much work on you guys. We want everybody to be about at that average, that national average level. So that's our final exam that we're going to use. It is a multiple choice standardized exam, so you don't have to really worry about it because we'll have the Scantrons for you guys. So there's no sort of preparation that you have to do. Okay. The way that breaks down, and this is an approximate breakdown, is that about 13% will be those low stakes lecture assignments, about 20%, 19% will be those medium stakes end of chapter assignments, and then your exams will make up the biggest portion of your grade here, as well as your final exams. Okay, a final exam. This is subject to change because how I do things in my course is I like points to be points. So just to go back, the difference between a lecture assignment is they're each only 10 points, whereas an exam is 100 points, but I don't lock in those percentages. So for whatever reason, if I decide to add a lecture assignment or take away a lecture assignment, it'll change these percentages ever so slightly, but this is about approximately how it's going to go down. Grading scale is pretty straightforward. 90 to 100 is really greater than 90 is an A, 80 to 89 is a B, 70 to 79 is a C, 60 to 69 is a D. Anything lower than that is an F. And at the end, your Canvas gradebooks will be kept up to date throughout the semester. So you'll know exactly where you stand in the course. And then at the end, what I'm going to do is take your Canvas gradebook and I'm going to round it to the ones place. And I know that you all just got done with general chemistry and are pros at rounding. So you know very well that an 89.5 rounds up to a 90, which would be an A. But an 89.49 does not round up. It rounds to a B, right? Rounds down. And there is not going to be any funny math that's being played at the end of the semester. Your grade is going to be your numerical grade based on Canvas, again, rounded to the ones place, but there's not going to be any sort of funny math going on, any creative rounding at the end of the semester. It's your responsibility to keep track of your grades. Makeup work. So, importantly, two different things. So first of all, your lecture assignments, and actually lab is a different thing, so I got to take that out of here. Lab is a different course number here, so I shouldn't have any reference to lab here. I'll take that out. But anyways, your lecture assignments can be turned in late, can be made up, but they're going to be counted as late, okay? And I'll talk about the late policy here in a second. The more important ones, I think, are exams. If you miss an exam and you do follow those protocols to have a excused absence, then we can deal with that sort of thing. It's not going to be able to be taken online. I know post-COVID, everybody's like, oh, can I just take that exam online? No, absolutely not. All right, they can be made up. We're basically going to just have to agree upon a time and place to do that. If there is some sort of an extreme circumstance, what will happen is your exam grade will be replaced by an average of all your other exam scores. But that's going to be something that I decide based on a case-by-case scenario. And any exam that's missed without an excused absence is going to be an automatic 0. Final exams have to be taken at the date and time that they are scheduled. Those are set at the beginning of the semester. We have no wiggle room with that. These lecture assignments and end of chapter assignments that can be turned in late. So again, if for whatever reason your internet goes out or something and you can't complete an assignment, understandable, but it's going to be late. And for every day late, you're going to incur a 10% penalty per day. Okay, most assignments can be turned in an average of 3 days late, but really it depends on how close the exam is, because importantly, everything will close the day before a unit exam. I don't want you turning in homework that pertains to exam 2 after you've taken exam 2. That doesn't help anybody. Okay, extra credit. It's not something that's going to be offered unless I see it fit to offer something to the whole class. And typically that would only happen if I wrote an exam that was too long or too hard or something like that and it needed some sort of a curve. But I don't offer extra credit just because you don't like what your grade is at the end of the semester. It's your responsibility to pay attention to your grade throughout the course of the semester. Okay. Class norms and accommodations with students with disabilities. You can read through this. The bottom line is please contact DSPS if you do qualify, and they will contact me, and we can get that all worked out. All right, academic dishonesty. The bottom line is don't cheat. It's a pain in my ass. It's paperwork. I don't like dealing with it, and it pisses me off so much. I will come down on you with the full force of everything, right? Zeros all around, reported to the Vice President of Instruction. Just don't cheat. Y'all are adults. We're too old for this. All right. There are some really good links here within our syllabus to just these programs that are available to you by virtue of being Fresno City College students. There's both physical and mental health resources, as well as tutorial services for this particular course. And then finally the RAM Pantry, which is a pretty cool food bank that's offered by the college, for those of you who are interested. Lastly, please make note of our final date and time. Again, that is set by FCC at the beginning of the semester and not anything we have any wiggle room with, okay? So just make sure that you are planned well ahead of time for that particular exam, okay? And yes, awesome. So you guys now know our course policies, how this course is going to go down, and I look forward to our semester together.